Now at 11, a cougar sighting in Battleground is not quite the threat it seems. What we now know about that big cat. Plus, Oregon lawmakers take aim at the Trump administration over a controversial immigration policy.
And make no mistake, children are being ripped out of their parents' arms because of the Trump Sessions policy. And they could change it today, and they should change it today.
How they plan to go to battle with the White House. And a terrifying scene on the streets of Russia. Why police say a taxi driver plowed into pedestrians. KOIN 6 News starts right now.
From the KOIN 6 Newsroom, this is breaking news.
Welcome to KOIN 6 News at 11. We begin with breaking news. Right now, crews are responding to a crash scene in southeast Portland on 82nd, which is now closed from Flavel to Henderson. Our Jennifer Dowling is there live at the scene. Jennifer, what are you seeing?
Well, Trevor, it's a very dramatic scene out here. We have the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office on scene along with Portland Police, and we had 4 to 6 cars involved in this accident. I'm going to step out of the way so you can see the magnitude of this. We have all these police officers back there, and then we have a black car here behind the maroon car. Witnesses here tell me that black car was speeding through this intersection with police following close behind. It hit that maroon car, and it caused a chain reaction crash that hit, again, 4 to 6 cars. There's only about 4 cars on the scene here right now. We're told that 2 may have left the area at this point, but we're told that the man that was driving the black car, police rushed up to him after the accident with their guns drawn and told him to get out of the car. So people here telling me they believe this was some sort of police action or police chase, and this man was driving extremely fast, went through this intersection and hit these cars. This has yet to be confirmed by police, but I talked to a couple that was in this blue car here to my left. It's kind of away from all the other cars there. They said it was pretty shocking. They were not hit by the black car itself, but by the chain reaction when all these cars collided. Pretty shaken up right now. They say that at least one person appeared to be injured, but we don't know what condition that they are in, and other people have walked away from this crash, which is good news. So we're working to learn more details from police at this time to find out if this was indeed a police chase, but we do know that at least one person was taken into custody following this crash, and we'll try to update you on the web and, of course, on KOIN tomorrow. Back to you.
Right, just a mess of a scene. Thank you, Jennifer. We're also following more breaking news tonight. Emergency crews say a horse is dead after running into the road and colliding with a car. This happened on Farmington Road and Woodbridge Road. TVFNR tweeted these photos of the scene. They said that one person is pinned in the vehicle. We're working to learn more about their condition at the moment. And be sure to stick with us. We'll bring you any updates on both of these crashes. Just head over to KOIN.com. We'll be updating them as we get more details. Of course, these 2 crashes cap off what has been a dangerous 24 hours on Oregon roads. First, a car crash killed a former University of Oregon football player. Early yesterday morning, police found the body of Fotu Leatu hours after a rollover crash in which the suspected drunk driver said he was not carrying any passengers. So far, that driver has only been cited for drunk driving. Fotu was a defensive back for the Ducks until earlier this year. Also, police are trying to find whoever hit and seriously injured a motorcyclist in southeast Portland. This happened last night at Southeast 92nd and Cooper. Police say the driver of an SUV took off on foot after the collision and has not yet been found. The motorcycle rider is in his 70s. He was taken to the hospital. Meanwhile, 6 people did manage to escape this minivan before it became engulfed in flames. Now the driver of another car is facing charges. This crash happened last night near Kaiser. Police say the minivan got rear-ended and pushed into a ditch where it rolled and caught fire. Police cited the other driver for being under the influence and driving with a suspended license. And we're also working to learn more about a deadly crash yesterday near Molalla. Investigators say a Tahoe was carrying a family when it crashed on a narrow gravel road in the Molalla River recreational area. That left a 6-year-old boy dead. His mother was taken by life flight to a hospital with serious injuries. 2 other children were also injured, and it's not clear how long the victims had been there before help arrived. Bigger fines are coming in July for Oregon drivers using their cell phones while on the road, and they could also face jail time. Starting July 1st, the fine goes up for repeat offenders. Right now, the fine in Oregon for the first time you're caught is a minimum of $130. The second time, $220. But starting in July, if you're cited 3 times within 10 years, it will cost you up to $2,500 and possibly 6 months in jail. A 2-alarm fire erupts at a vacant house overnight in Dallas, and it caused extensive damage. Now, thankfully, no one was hurt, but investigators are still trying to figure out what caused this blaze. Right now, crews have about 80% containment on the Rainbow Fire. It's burning in between Madras and the Warm Springs Reservation. A person who passed out at his campfire was pulled to safety, was pulled out by a friend, and later transported to St. Charles, Madras, for burn-related injuries. His status is unknown at this time, and now fire crews are investigating the possibility that this campfire is the cause of the wildfire. I want to get a first check of our weather now. Meteorologist Steve Pierce is here. Steve, we saw a little bit of rain. What are we looking at right now?
Yeah, pretty clear skies outside right now. Trevor, let's take a look outside. Downtown Portland right now in your 11 o'clock hour. A few cars out there on the freeway. We've cooled it down to 64 degrees. A calm wind. That sunset earlier tonight at 9:02 p.m. There's temperatures now 60 in Vancouver, 64 in Portland. Mostly in the lower to mid 60s up and down the I-5 corridor. All the scattered showers and thunderstorms we saw earlier this afternoon and evening are starting to dissipate. I think that continues to be the case. And Trevor, coming up in my full forecast in about 10 minutes, we're headed for the 90s. I'll have all the details coming up.
America and Oregon are better than this.
New numbers released from the Department of Homeland Security are revealing just how many kids are being separated from their families as the administration cracks down on illegal immigration. Over a 6-week period in the United States, 2,000 children were separated from their immigrant parents. And today, members of Oregon's congressional delegation visited some of those parents where they're being held inside an ICE detention facility. KOIN 6's Jennifer Dowling filed this report before heading out to breaking news.
Make no mistake, children are being ripped out of their parents' arms because of the Trump Sessions policy.
On Father's Day weekend, Oregon's Democratic congressional delegation visited with a number of immigrant fathers at this ICE detention facility who've been separated from their children.
Sending them God knows where. It's abhorrent.
The Democrats talked with some of the detainees for about an hour inside. Senator Jeff Merkley says 123 men are being held here in prison cells.
One of them had a child, had been separated from a child who was only a year and a half old. Now, tomorrow is Father's Day.
Democrats blame the zero-tolerance policy adopted by Jeff Sessions and the Trump administration. They say it's left the refugees here with little access to legal help and major hurdles to contact lawyers or their wives and children.
They didn't know where to call. In some cases, couldn't make calls because the prison charges money.
At one point, we were told that people had been given information about lawyers, but it was in their clothes, and their clothes had been taken away from them. So in effect, there was no way to contact lawyers.
We tried to contact Republican Representative Greg Walden about the situation, but he hasn't returned our request for comment. As for President Trump,
The Democrats forced that law upon our nation. I hate it.
but it was Trump's own Justice Department that implemented a policy change in May, requiring kids to be taken away from parents that are jailed. The actions have sparked an emotional debate. This picture from CBS shows a 2-year-old girl from Honduras crying as police search and detain her mom.
I kept thinking about my grandkids under 6. What would happen to them?
Back at the Sheridan facility, a federal public defender wrote a letter detailing problems she discovered after speaking with detainees. She says they're locked up for 22 to 23 hours a day, have inadequate food, and lack of medical care.
One gentleman showed us what looked like an open wound on his leg, and he has not been able to see a doctor. Let's give these people a chance to make their case, and in the short term, make sure they're getting access to lawyers and to medical care and to food.
Jennifer Dowling, KOIN 6 News.
Senator Merkley and a delegation of lawmakers will get a tour of a facility in Texas tomorrow, and Senator Merkley says he thinks the president should visit too. Make sure to tune in. We will have a live report on KOIN 6 News at 5. Well, Battleground neighbors can sleep easy tonight. A sighting of an alleged cougar yesterday ended up being just a house cat. That's right. The pictures sent to KOIN 6 yesterday of what one person thought was a juvenile cougar has now been proven to be nothing more than someone's pet. Now, there have been enough recently reported sightings so that Fish and Wildlife can't rule out that a cougar might possibly be loitering in the Battleground area. They say this is the time of year that juvenile cougars tend to be in the area. So if you happen to see what you think is a cougar and not a house cat, be sure to report any sightings to 311. Portland Pride is underway right now, bringing tens of thousands of people to town, and police are stepping up patrols for these events. They're also looking into whether recent social media posts about potential threats to the activities are credible. Extra officers will be working this weekend to keep participants in the festival safe, and they're advising everyone to travel in pairs. The Pride Parade starts at 11 tomorrow morning in the North Park blocks. It ends at the waterfront. Still ahead on KOIN 6, a pair of Kansas deputies murdered by an inmate they were guarding, even while that inmate was shackled. And artwork from the world's most famous street artist stolen from a gallery in Canada. We have the security footage of the heist. Well, a pretty terrifying incident in Moscow today when a taxi plowed into a crowd of pedestrians that injured 7 people in the middle of World Cup festivities. You can see that car. It hops onto the curb there right on the sidewalk, hits a group of people before striking a traffic sign. And look at that. As the bystanders rushed in, trying to open the door, the driver jumped out and then ran away. Now, he has since been detained and is being questioned by police. Also caught on camera, some artwork by the famous anonymous England-based artist Banksy was stolen from a Toronto gallery. The security camera footage shows a man entering the space and then exiting with a framed piece of art in hand. It's not exactly Ocean's 11. The print is titled Trolley Hunters, and it shows 3 prehistoric men facing 2 grocery carts. Meteorologist Steve Pierce is here. Steve is a father, of course, and tomorrow for Father's Day, it looks like you've set up the perfect one for you.
Yeah. A, I brought the good weather, and B, I'm not working.
That's right. What else could you need?
I need one more thing to be the trifecta. But yeah, great weather coming. You know, we had some excitement today with the scattered showers and thunderstorms, but that's all tapered down now, Trevor. It's a quiet night out there. Clear skies. Skies are clearing out. We're cooling down, though, now 60 over there from our Riverview Community Bank camera shot looking south from downtown Vancouver into North Portland. High temperatures today. Before those thunderstorms rolled in, we were just a degree shy of 80. That's about 8-9 degrees above where we should be this time of the year. 77 for you folks over there in Vancouver. Another 79 down in Salem and 74 in Eugene. 60s and 70s along the coast. A nice day in the Columbia River Gorge until again those scattered thunderstorms rolled through this afternoon. Here's the current temperatures right now, mostly in the mid to lower 60s in the valley, and then out there along the coast, temperatures in the 50s. And similar 50s over there on the east side of the state there. Okay, just a few scattered showers up in the Cascades now. I think they're all dying out. Big ridge of high pressure going to take hold. This system over here in eastern Oregon that was responsible for the scattered showers and thunderstorms, that's going to continue to taper off and move to the south and east tonight. I don't think there's going to be the same threat for thunderstorms on the west side of the Cascades tomorrow. 4 100ths in Vancouver, 2 100ths in Portland, 1 100th in Hillsborough since midnight last night. All right, guys, you know dads out there, it's going to be a nice sunny day tomorrow. We're going for a high of 89. It will be hot, a good day to do some barbecuing and then maybe jump in the pool after that. Hey, get you out the door. Sunny skies tomorrow to start. We'll already be in the 60s, and then we go right into the 70s and into the 80s after your lunchtime. Again, I think we top out right around 89 on Sunday, and then we go 90, 91, 92. We stay in the 90s for 3 days. We haven't done that yet this year. It's the warmest weather coming up this year so far. Okay, there's that 50% chance of rain tonight. I think that's pretty much gone now. And then the rain is out of here for quite some time to come. Cloud and rain forecast shows nothing but sunshine. We'll just let this roll tomorrow. A few scattered showers right along the crest of the Cascades. One might drift out over the Portland area, but it would not be as significant as it was today. Our upper air pattern will let this roll. We'll stop it on Tuesday. Big ridge of high pressure. I think Tuesday and Wednesday are the warmest days coming up in the next 7. A little dip in the jet stream later on the week that just brings some cool air in. Okay, afternoon sunshine on your Father's Day along the coast, but we're warming up into the 70s. Astoria, 76, nice and warm over there. I-5 corridor on your Sunday, sunny and hot, just a light northwest wind. Temperatures just shy of 90 degrees. Beaverton at 89. Central and east side on your Father's Day, partly sunny, a scattered thunderstorm chance in the far east. I think it's more or less Pendleton, LeGrand, Baker City, over in those areas up in the Blues and the Wallas. Okay, quick look at that 7-day forecast. 89 tomorrow. We'll go 90s for the next 3 days after that. Hottest of 2018. Then we just cool it down, but we remain dry through the rest of the week.
Look at those icons. That's great.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. Thank you very much, Steve. It's time for some sports now, and it was not the start to the College World Series that Oregon State Beavers fans were hoping for. Tom Ward joins us now with more. Tom, Oregon State's been dominant. Did not have it today.
No, they certainly didn't. Today's game between the Beavs and Tar Heels, longest game in College World Series history, and that just prolonged the agony for Beavers fans. Beavers ace Luke Heimlich getting the nod in this one, and really that's a no-brainer. Heimlich, the National Pitcher of the Year, with just 2 losses to his name over the last 2 seasons, and OSU giving Heimlich some support early on. Stephen Kwan at second for Trevor Larnach, and Larnach gives this one a ride to deep center field. The wind just keeps it in the yard. Larnach would have to settle for the triple, the first of his career, make it 1-zip Beavers, but Heimlich just was not sharp today. His command not there. The wild pitch, that plates a run for the Tar Heels to make it 3-1. Heimlich lasted just 2 1/3. You know things aren't going well for OSU when that happens. The Tar Heels getting some much-needed production in the 3rd inning. It's 4-1 when Ben Kasparius lines a single to center. 2 runs come home to score, and it is 6-1 UNC. The Beavs clawed their way back into this one, though. Skip ahead, bottom 7, down 2, but with the bases loaded, Stephen Kwan strikes out looking. Tough call, and that was the last real shot OSU had. 8-6 the final. Same 2 teams go at it again on Monday. OSU needs a win, or its season will come to an end. Pat Casey now on Heimlich's struggles.
I don't think he was nervous. You know, I don't know. He just couldn't command anything. He couldn't get it to go where he wanted. I think that it's tough when you can't throw the ball across the plate.
Meanwhile, the Washington Huskies also in Omaha taking on Mississippi State. The Bulldogs got a walk-off single in the bottom of the ninth to take game one of that series. All right, to the pitch now, and Chicago has not beaten the Thorns since 2013, first season of the National Women's Soccer League. Would that change tonight in the Windy City? Scoreless in the 42nd minute, the Red Stars playing the long ball, trying to get in behind the Thorns defense, and it works. Sam Kerr tripped up by Kelly Hubley. That's a penalty. Yuki Nagasato then steps up to take the PK. Strong save by Thorns keeper Britt Eckerstrom, but she can't stop the rebound. It's 1-0 Chicago. Second half, and the Thorns find the equalizer off the free kick. Ball falls, and Lindsey Horan first to react just like that. We've got a tie game. 82nd minute now. The Thorns with the glorious chance to take all 3 points. 3 Thorns in the box, but none of them get a clean touch on the ball. This one ends in a 1-1 draw. Next up, a road match with the Houston Dash on Friday. All right, to Shinnecock Hills and the 118th U.S. Open. Golfers frustrated over the nearly impossible conditions, bringing back memories of the 04 Open at Shinnecock. None more so than Phil Mickelson. Check out lefty, runs after his moving ball on 13. Instead of watching it roll off the green, he hits it back toward the cup. That's a 2-shot penalty, and very un-Mickelson-like. He wound up with a 10 on the hole. A bizarre sequence to be sure, but Phil had an easy explanation.
You know, it's just part of the U.S. Open. It's just funny, and I don't mean it disrespectful. So I hope nobody's, if you're taking it that way, look, I'm sorry, that's not the way it's meant. I just wanted to get to the next hole, and I didn't see that happening at the time without the 2 shots.
At the top of the leaderboard, world number 1 Dustin Johnson dropped into a share of the lead after a 3-putt bogey on 18. Johnson, with a 7 over 77 today, is one of 4 players tied for the lead at 3 over, including defending champion Brooks Koepka. So Mickelson, kind of the tip of the spear, and the players sort of really grousing about the conditions there. They're very upset. It's I believe the first time since 07 after 3 rounds that somebody has not been under par.
Right, and the USGA has straight up admitted greens are too fast.
Yeah, they're putting water on them as we speak, I'm sure.
Even for the best golfers.
Yeah.
It makes me feel better watching them
yes,
do poorly.
Doesn't it, though?
All right. Thanks a lot, Tom. We'll be right back. Sheriff's Department in Kansas City, Kansas is reeling after 2 of its deputies were allegedly shot and killed by a man in their custody. They are the 29th and 30th officers to be fatally shot this year in the line of duty.
Yesterday was a terribly tragic day.
The 2 Kansas City area deputies murdered during a transport ambush had a combined 20 years on the force. A sheriff's office spokesperson said they were the type of officers who not only put their lives on the line, but reported to work every day with smiles.
2 bright and intelligent, wonderful personalities. They were an asset to our agency.
35-year-old Deputy Patrick Rohrer and 44-year-old Deputy Teresa King were also both parents. Their families and community now struggling to understand how a routine transport ended in tragedy. The sheriff's office says the shooting Friday morning happened in a secure, gated area of the county jail as the 2 deputies were transporting 2 inmates back from a court hearing. Police say one of the inmates was somehow able to grab one of the deputies' guns and open fire, despite protocols in place to protect them.
They're handcuffed in the front and shackled. We always evaluate procedures, but we did confirm that they did follow proper procedure.
The unidentified gunman was also injured. He is in stable condition. Last year, 4 officers were shot and killed while handling prisoners nationwide. In 3 of those cases, the officers were killed with their own guns. There are a lot of unanswered questions, and this incident is still under investigation, including how the inmate was able to get a hold of the deputy's gun. We'll be right back. Today is Nexstar's Founders Day of Caring. Nexstar owns KOIN 6, and our employees have spent the day volunteering in the community.
Jen and Amy and I are working really hard. Amy was working so hard that she had to change her gloves out. So she's the hardest worker of this bunch right there, Amy Fraser.
Jennifer Dowling, of course, she's had a busy day. Jennifer Hoff and Amy Frazier there packing onions for the Oregon Food Bank. Those onions will be distributed to families throughout Oregon and Clark County. You probably saw a number of KOIN employees at a number of different volunteer organizations.
Yeah.
How about another check of weather?
Great gig. Yeah, let's take a look. Actually, I got the radar up right now. Let's take a look at that. All those thunderstorms and showers that we were dealing with earlier coming down off the Cascades, they are dissipating over the valley tonight. I don't expect there to be an issue with that again tomorrow. Quick look at that 7-day forecast. Speaking of tomorrow, guys, Father's Day, 89. Wouldn't be surprised if a couple of places hit 90, and then 3 more days in the 90s, the hottest stretch we've had since last fall. And we stay dry the rest of the week. We just cool it down a little bit.
Okay, I can handle that.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, thank you very much, Steve. Thanks, everyone, for watching. I want to wish everyone a very happy Pride weekend. To all the fathers out there, a happy Father's Day tomorrow, including you, Steve.
Thank you.
And then happy birthday to Kevin. He's a friend of mine. You guys would like Kevin if you know him. Have a great one, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.